Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. We are going to focus on binding our arms today in yoga. Doesn't mean you have to, right? It doesn't mean that you need to force anything, especially I know you're coming back from a frozen shoulder, so just do what you can. When we're opening up the shoulders this way, don't feel like the goal is to bind the arms. The goal is not to necessarily bring the hands together. The goal is simply to open up the shoulders and to open up the heart center and to be able to open up the breath at the same time. So try to let go of any striving, try to let go of any struggle, and just do your best. So the only reason I have a strap up here is to show you that in different poses where we're attempting to bind the arms, you don't even have to bring the hands together. You may look like this in the pose. You might be able to bring the hands together, or you might enjoy bringing that apparatus to be able to hold on to. So just know whenever we get to the binding of the arms, if you prefer a strap, you can grab one, okay? So when I woke up yesterday morning to teach at a different studio, my first thought was, what am I going to teach today? And I got all these flashes of poses with the binding of the arms. So I was like, okay, we're going to focus on binding the arms. Sometimes what happens when I'm thinking about a class is I think of the theme first, and then the physical practice comes later after that. But this time it was reversed. So I had the poses, and I thought, let's focus on binding, because a couple days prior to that, I had given Reiki to someone who I had never met before. Honestly, I don't even know her last name. I still don't know what she does for a living. Like, it was literally just for a Reiki session. She drove to my house. I gave it to her. And when I was working on her, it was one of those Reiki sessions where there wasn't necessarily a congruent theme for me to figure out what was going on with the person. Typically that happens. It was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I was a little confused of how do these things thread together. And so in the end, I was like, wow, I usually can kind of figure out what's going on, but I gave you the impressions I got, but can you please tell me what's going on? You know, like, what called you to be here? And then she started to declare that she had been in marriage, and when she was about to get married, she had a lot of kidney trouble, landed in the hospital. And the night before she went to get married, she was having a lot of doubts, and she was sensing a lot of red flags. And she was like, I don't think I should get married, but my parents paid for the venue and the flowers, and the invitations have been sent out, and everybody's coming tomorrow, and this is what's expected, and maybe it's just nerves, I'm gonna do it. Well, the marriage ended up being terrible because he wasn't of good character, he wasn't of good integrity, and he cheated on her a lot, right? So this thing happened, and she kept having these kidney problems. Even through her divorce, she was having these kidney problems. And basically she stayed single for like 7 or 8 years, getting herself together, healing, doing the inner work, changing her mindset. It took her that long to figure out, okay, I think I'm ready to date again. She puts herself out there, she gets with the man, she falls in love with the man, she's still in love with this man. And she discovered, by the way, in her marriage that she couldn't have children, and he happens to have 3 children. And they're madly in love with each other, and she, you know, is kind of playing the mother role with his 3 children, and she's ready for more. And he's not ready for more. And so it's, you know, one of those places where she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm in love with this man, and I know he's in love with me, but I want more than what he's ready to do. And so I started talking to her afterwards. I was like, how long was he divorced? And she was like, maybe 5 months before we started dating. I'm like, therein lies the problem. And then I shared with her, I'm kind of in the same situation. So I feel you. Like, I get it. Like, it takes at least 5 years for a person to heal from the divorce and go through all the emotions. And you've only been dating 2.5 years, and he was only divorced for 5 months. Give him some time. It's okay. You can still enjoy your love together, and maybe this will come later. Anyway, so it made me start thinking about she was ready to commit. Because to bind means to commit. It means to connect, to commit, and to contain. And if you look at the word yoga means to unite, to bind together, to bring together as one. Now, there's other types of binding that can happen. So for her, she's not in the marriage. She really wants the marriage. She wants the commitment. But for him, he's in a space where he's probably thinking, I'm speaking for him, but he's probably thinking, oh, I just got out of one. I'm enjoying this as it is. I don't know if I want to commit yet. Because for some people, or you may have been in a situation where that commitment can also be really suffocating. And it could not be such a great thing. So I don't know if you've ever looked at Chinese culture and its history, but there was a time in the Chinese culture where the mark of beauty for women was small feet, tiny feet. I'm talking size 3, size 4 feet. And I have a size 7, right? And what they would do is bind their feet and literally make them so small that I can't even imagine doing that. Yes, yes, tiny. And I'm sure it would warp their feet and their bones the way they were growing if it was done so young.
Yeah, and they couldn't even walk there.
Yeah. So think about that type of binding. Oh, painful, right? So we don't want the binding to be painful. Remember, yoga, you should be able to breathe. You should have a sense of ease. There's effort involved, but there should also be a sense of ease. It's the blend of the two together. So with that in mind, we will start our practice. And we're going to begin with some breath work. And the breath work we're going to do is a balancing breath. So I'm not going to be mirroring you. Your first 2 fingers on your right hand is going to come to your third eye. And your ring finger and your thumb will start to swap back and forth between the nostrils in order to open and close the nostrils for us to breathe. So at first, just keep the nostrils open. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Good, now close the right side with your thumb, breathing in through the left. At the top of the inhale, swap the fingers, close the left, open the right, breathe out. Breathe in through the same opening to the right. And now swap the fingers, breathe out left. Breathing in left. Out right. Eyes are closed, breathing in. Breathing out left. Breathe in left. This time when you breathe out right, you're going to lean your torso over to the right thigh. Inhale, rise to the top. Exhale, breathe out, lean left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, breathe out, lean left. Continue this pattern. Remembering we started creating a rhythmic breath. And then we incorporated rhythmic movement to match. Coordinate the two together. Usually one nostril is more dominant than the other. This shows up when we have colds.
And so there's different types of pranayama, different types of breathing techniques, some that are very calming, some that are very energizing, some that are cooling, some that are heating, and some that are balancing. And this is a balancing breath. Now, the next time you breathe in through the right and breathe out through the left, you'll remove the mudra from the face and you'll inhale, come all the way back up. And you're just going to take pause. Breathing through both nostrils now. Maybe something has cleared. Maybe it was just the thoughts fluttering in your mind. Maybe it was just your nasal passages opening up. The channel of the breath is cleared. And then when you're ready, gently begin to open up your eyes and set your hands beside your hips. Inhale, reach that right arm skyward, and as you exhale, curve over to your left, creating a seated Chandrasana crescent move. Now you can extend long through that top arm and fingertips to make it more dynamic. You can also create a C curve with the arm and create more of a yin type shape, as long as the breath is wide open. On your next in-breath, gently come back to the top. As you exhale, you're going to hook your right arm behind your back, and you're going to grab a hold of your left arm and cross it. Now, gently lower the left ear in the direction of the left shoulder. And at first, you may feel the stretch through the side of the neck, maybe even in the front side of the throat. But we're going to work this down towards the top of the shoulder by releasing the right hand, sending the right arm to the right side, and barely allowing the fingertips to hover above the ground. Breathe. Now inhale, lift the head up, and exhale, drip the right hand to the floor. All right, inhale, take that left arm skyward. Exhale, you can slide your right hand over as you pour over to the side. Infusing that left lung with prana and affirming mentally within strength and courage fills up my body cells. On your next in-breath, gently come back to the top. As you exhale, this arm's going to hook behind you, and you're going to lower the right ear to the right shoulder. Feel free to close your eyes. Sense the sensation. And gently remove that back hand and slide the left arm off to the left side. Allow the fingertips to barely hover. Extend through the fingers. And then inhale, lift the head up, and then exhale, relax the hand back down. You're going to separate your feet wide, and you're going to cup a hold of your shins with your hands. Then we're going to do that cat-cow. So as you inhale, you're dipping the head, and then blossoming the heart through the knees, squeezing the shoulders back and looking upward. And then as you exhale, your navel draws in. You straighten your arms, you push back into the shoulder blades and bow the head. And then you're going to continue this process. Inhale to this version of cow, and then exhale to this version of cat. We're just warming up the spine. So we warmed up the neck, the shoulders, and the side body. Last one. And then inhale, come back up. All right, on your exhale, you're gonna slide your left shoulder down on the inside of that knee and thigh. Your left hand's gonna be flipped open, and if you spin the hand so the fingertips are driven underneath your thigh, you might be able to pick up the hand and attach it towards your waist or hip. Don't worry if you can't. All right, and then your next breath, you're gonna reach the right arm skyward. And you're gonna keep that hand held up, maybe gazing off in its direction, hasta drishti. All right, if you wanna do the full bind, you're gonna spin that top hand, you're gonna thread it behind your back. Maybe the hands can join together. Maybe you want a strap to be in between. Maybe you're fine just with the hands pressing against your body. Yogi's pick. Roll the right shoulder back. Lengthen out through the vertebrae, even though you're leaning to one side. And then exhale, unwind from that twist. All right, second side, right shoulder is gonna slide down. And then the hand can slip under, and maybe this is all you can do. Maybe you can pick up the hand and attach it to the body. Inhale, sweep the left arm skyward. Shining the hand up, and then turning the hand around, threading it behind the back, and seeing what is possible on this side. And it is pretty normal for one side to be accessible and one side to not be as accessible. Left shoulder rolls back, heart rolls open. Looking through the corner of the eyes, Pardha Drishti. And then exhale, let's unwind. All right, you're gonna send your left leg out and you're gonna bring your right foot in. Now this is where, if you wanted to use a strap, if you don't do half lotus, the strap can wrap around the foot and you can bring it to your left side wrist. If you are comfortable doing half lotus with your hip, your knee, and your ankle, you can bring the foot on top of your thigh towards the hip crease. All right, flex out that left ankle and front. Your right arm, if it circles behind you, will only go so far. But if you circle and twist at the same time, your hand's gonna go much farther around, and you might be able to grab that strap a little closer to your waist or potentially the foot. Now turn back around to face me and lift the left arm skyward. Once you elevate the left arm, I want you to just be here a moment because you are receiving here. Feel what you're receiving in the right shoulder. Feel what you're receiving in the core of the body. Feel what you're receiving in your back. And if you're flexing the left foot and pushing down through your left thigh, those muscles are equally engaged. If you want the forward fold, go ahead and seize the moment. Hinge from your hips. Take the left arm out towards the foot, regardless if it touches or not. Open up your breath. The breath is powerful, and the breath can bring us into that mode of being patient, right? Like the woman I was speaking about in the relationship was starting to get impatient. And here we want the breath to bring the patience. The breath can also help us to unravel any excess tension. All right, inhale, we're gonna bring ourselves back up. But this top hand is now gonna cross over to the bent knee, whichever foot position you're in, it doesn't matter. Free up your back arm, and it's gonna feel good after that bind, so lift it back up. And then stay in your twist and start to curve over. This is Parita Dhanishashasana. So the head of the knee on that left leg is still facing upward. All right, inhale, let's gently come back up, and exhale, unwind from that, and extend your right leg. We'll take it to the other side. So the left knee will bend, the hip will open. You can determine here, do I need to be more in Janu Shirshasana? Maybe using the strap the way I demonstrated before, or is it possible to do half lotus? And then we'll take that left arm and circle behind the back. Remember, if you incorporate the twist, you can get much taller around. Turn back to face me. Lift the right arm and just hold for a moment. We're always usually quick to rush right into the pose, but there are stages to it. And you may be receiving something here that you need. All right, on your exhale, if you want the forward fold, go ahead and take it. Incorporating the hamstring stretch. Forming that relationship back to your breath. Maybe adding in the affirmation, left and right, and all around, life's harmonies are. On your next in-breath, let's release and come up out of the forward fold. You're gonna take that top hand to the bent knee. Stay in that rotation, free up the back arm, and then exhale, slide on over towards the straight leg. Keep the right toes jutting up and spreading nice and wide. Keeping the breath nice and full. Inhale, let's come back up. And exhale, release the back hand and come out of the twist. Good, separate your feet. You're gonna shift forward into Malasana squat. So we've been warming up the body. We've been warming up the neck, the shoulders, the side body, the spine, the heart, the hamstrings. And now we're gonna dig into the hips a little bit. Let your tailbone release and let the crown of the head continue to rise. You feel those two lines of energy makes the pose a little bit more intense. Set your drishti at one place before you, preferably something that doesn't move. Go ahead and take the hands down and slowly begin to straighten your legs. Heel toe the feet towards each other and bow over to your Uttanasana. Apply pressure down to the soles of the feet. Allow the muscles to elongate. The quads to contract to support the hamstring work. On your next in-breath, root down to circle the arms overhead, coming to Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, bring hands down in midline to the heart. Now, if you need to clear your mat. If you need to step up to the front, go ahead and do so now for our sun salutations. All right, with your hands joining together, just feel the uniting of the palms here at the place of integration, the place of harmony. Inhale, circle the arms wide and up overhead. Exhale, swan dive today into your Uttanasana. When you lower the head and the heart, you're going to inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through the vertebrae. And as you exhale, you're stepping down the mat and you're lowering down to Chaturanga. On your in-breath, you're going to lift to upward facing dog. And as you exhale, you rock and roll back to downward facing dog. Holding and breathing. So when you're pressing through your hands, slightly dial them away from each other. Press through the fingertips, press through the base knuckles, into the mounds of the hands. So it's not all weight bearing to your wrist. Stretch out through your arms. Stretch out through your vertebrae, even if that means bending your knees in the process. On your next inhale, you can meditationally wall lunge or float the feet together to Ardha Uttanasana at the top of the mat. Exhale, bow out and lower that in. Inhale, coming all the way up to the top. And exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we're going to add in some poses now. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold, keeping your belly hugging in. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, open the heart, stretch out the spine. Exhale, draw into the belly and roll over the feet. All right, we're gonna step the right foot forward and up between the hands. The back heel is gonna settle down and you're rising to warrior one. The front knee lunging and the back heel really planted and rolling the left hip forward. Lengthen up through your side body. Keep the chin parallel to the earth. Pull the energy up from the earth. And feel as though you're also receiving from the heavens. Exhale, hands down. Step back, plank. Vinyasa. You can always advance or modify yogi's choice. Left foot's gonna step through next. Back heel stills. Arms reach up. Finding your footing. Firming your foundation. Firming your abdomen. Bringing the pose to life with your breath. Affirming, I attune myself to the will of higher power. Exhale, hands down. Take the next vinyasa. Roll through each position with each part of your breath until you're in down dog. And then we continue to inhale and exhale here. Inhale, feet to the top of the mat. Open the heart when you arrive. And then exhale, spill down. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, reset. This time we're adding pyramid. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, swan dive. Keep it rolling. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, that low push-up. You can step through plank or you can float back into the full position. Inhale to a back bend. Exhale to down dog. This time, left foot steps forward. Now I'm popping the right foot forward and down, and then floating the hands to come up. All right, we're gonna bind one arm. Okay, so we're gonna do it with the left side. So the left arm can do one of two things. You can just cross it around to the sacrum, or you might enjoy half of a namaste behind your back. It's a little bit more wrist action, and it's a little bit more work for the shoulders, so just check in to see what's better. And then square your hips, right arm lifts, exhale, take your time. Suction cup your feet to the floor. Because we're coming up on the inhale, inhale. Really get the feet heavy. Lightness entering into the upper body. Exhale, dive in and surrender. Inhale. All right, this time as you exhale, when you come down, you can also release your left hand and you can bow the head more. Take 3 deep breaths. Affirming here, I give myself over into the flow of grace. All right, lunge the left knee, wiggle the right toes back. So remember, we hop that foot forward. Stepping through for plank. Exhale, rock forward with your feet, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, shine the heart. Exhale, rock and roll back. All right, immediately step that right foot through. Pop the left foot, maybe a baby step forward. Once you're stable in the feet, put your hands up. All right, this time, right arm behind the back for half namaste. Left arm reaches. Exhale, bow out. Feet and legs stay active here. Inhale, coming up. Lower body stays strong. Exhale, hinge. And bring in some flexibility. Inhale, last one. Exhale, this time when you fold, you can release your back hand. Bowing down. Maybe even putting a little bit more emphasis on your exhalations. Maybe giving more attention to the affirmation, depending on what you really need. I give myself over into the flow of grace. Let's lunge the right knee and wiggle the left toes back. Stepping through plank. Exhaling Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And exhaling to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let your neck go. Look back towards the feet or in between. Appreciate the breath. Inhale, bringing the feet to the top. Lifting halfway up when you do. Exhale, bow out. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, we're gonna do another. This one's gonna require a little bit more attention. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, keep that belly lifting towards the heart as you bow out. Inhale, open up. Exhale, drop and hover. Elbows quick to the side body. Move through that vinyasa sequence. And we're going to step through with the right foot. We're going to lower the back foot. We're starting with warrior one. Okay, so we will be working with some more binds, but we also need to take the arms in the other direction. All right, so take your wingspan out, hook your right arm underneath your left. Notice how we're bringing the arms now together in front and intertwining. We're gonna lean forward. That way we can peel the back foot off the floor, hook it around the right thigh for Dharadasana, and you can do the pose your way. Meaning using that left foot as a kickstand or not. Find your balance. Rediscover your breath. And then possible hinge. Your gaze is cast down. And then we spread the arms. We press through the right foot. We unlock the left leg and form airplane. From airplane, soft, easy bend in the right knee to dip the left foot to the floor, to plant the heel, and to come up with straight legs. Awesome. Now, take your hands and either bind the arms like this, right arm below, or fingertips to the low back and wiggle it up stream. And then if you do that, thumbs together, wings roll back. Okay, either way. Lean into your arms or hands. And then if you want the forward fold, you're slightly dialing your left rib cage over towards your right thigh. And press down to the mound of that right big toe. All right, let's slip the hands down. Lunge the right knee, wiggle the left toes back, 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 back. Okay, we're gonna lift the right foot, take the shin down. And take. We're gonna be doing a pose with a bind that's gonna require this hip to be flushed out. If you need to modify, you can flip to your back, your right ankle can cross over your left knee, and you can hug in that way. Let your breath be nice and full. How much resistance being held in this hip on this side. Notice if you're feeling more tension in the hip, you may start to feel that tension in your mouth. So soften the jaw. Separate the two rows of teeth. Maybe even slightly part your lips. Next, inhale, slowly, rise. If you're on your back, you can join us in plank. That's where we're headed next. Curl the back toes, separate that right leg back. Rock forward, lower down to that low push-up. Inhale, slide the heart through and up. And exhale, back up to downward facing dog. All right, we're ready for that other side. Left foot's gonna step through. Back heel's gonna drop as you rise to warrior one. Warrior one. Find your alignment. Separate the arms more. Left arm hooks underneath the right. Intertwine the two. Start to hinge. Peel the back foot off the floor. Hook the leg around the right. Garadasana. So one thing that was coming up in the Reiki reading before I knew what was happening with this lady, when I was at her head, I was like, there's so much buzzing in the left hemisphere of the brain. It's overactive, you're overthinking. Step over to the right side. It's where you see the big picture of things. Right? And it's not so narrow-minded. Hinge forward. Sometimes we need that bird's eye view. Imagine having that here, as if you were looking down at your own life. And you can see how everything is coming together like a puzzle, making sense. Spread the arms, push down through the left foot, reach the right leg back, 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 airplane. Threatening bends. Dip your right foot to the floor, straighten out both legs. All right, we're ready to bind the arms. So if you cross the arms this way before, crisscross the opposite way now. And if you're doing the reverse namaste hands, it can stay as is. Just widen your shoulders and elbows. All right, lean back. And then forward fold. glue those feet down, tuck your left hip in. Find a place to set your eyes. Find the balance of effort and ease. Release the hands. Lunge the left knee, wiggle the right toes back. Then prepare for your pigeon. Crossing the foot over behind the right hand, the knees turned out to the side, unless you need absolutely to turn to your back instead. For those of you that may be doing the recording later, this is what I mean by being on the back. And just settle in. There are some shapes on the mat where our body just naturally kind of molds into, and there's other shapes where it's like, hi. Just notice what this is in this moment for you. Remembering that the true goal of yoga is not the bind or any of the fancy poses, it's moksha. And moksha means freedom. How can we free up our bodies? How can we free up our minds? How can we free up our hearts? And then in that process, can we unite the mind, the body, the spirit together as one? Can we reconnect to our higher self? Linger here a few more breaths. Now we've been flushing out this side. Let's inhale slowly, come back up. If you're on your back, rejoin us in plank. This will be our last vinyasa for now. Closing out the Surya Namaskaras. Inhale, bringing the feet to the front of the mat, opening up the heart halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale to the top. And exhale, recenter. All right, so you guys on this side can turn to face the center of the room. You guys can turn to face the center of the room. Just know that you're not going to be mirroring each other when I'm talking left and right, okay? This way everybody can see what's happening. So your right foot's going to rotate around 90 degrees. We're going to lunge that right knee. Okay, go ahead and prop onto the thigh and take that left arm up towards the sky. Okay, so if you want to stay here, perfect. This is your pose. You're in the pose, side angle. If you want to try the binding of the arms today, you're going to turn the top hand and you're going to thread it behind your back. You're going to bring it around towards your waist area, if possible. Okay, this may be where you want to stay today. Because your left arm is bound and your heart is spun open, this is a great place. But if you want to Drip the right hand, you're not done. You will bend the arm to lower the shoulder. Then you'll hook the arm beneath. Now notice we kind of kick the buttocks back when we bind. So we need to tuck the right sit bone back in. We need to lengthen out through the vertebrae and then attempt to roll the left shoulder open so the heart is still spun out into the room. I know it's a lot. And again, you can stop at any point along the way. Here or here. If you're in the bind, are you breathing? All right, everyone release the binds and we'll slowly come up. So if it goes, turn the right foot in, rotate your left foot out. Again, each side's different, so at least explore your options, see what's available. Lunge the knee. Prop to the leg. Right arm up. If you want to bind that top hand, spin it and thread it. Check in. You want to try the second option of lowering the hand, lowering the shoulder, hooking that arm, maybe using a strap, maybe linking your hands, maybe no strap or hands link at all, but then tuck the left hip, stretch out through the crown of your head, roll open through your chest, and make sure you can breathe. If you can't breathe, there's a struggle, so let go physically somewhere, some way. Good, if you're bound, unbind and come up. Relax. Turn the left foot, step one foot over, and then bring the other foot over. That seems to work out okay. All right. We're gonna try tree a little differently. If you don't do half lotus, that's okay. You can still do this tree version here, but the difference is we're gonna bind the arms. Now you don't have to bring reverse namaste hands in, you can just crisscross your arms. However, if you do half lotus, you're going to take your right foot to your left thigh, and you're gonna bind the right arm and hook a hold of that arm like we did in the warm-up. You have choices. Tree with arms crossed behind the back. And this is going to challenge you because you're facing each other. So you might want to look down, not all the way down, but down about 4 to 6 feet in front of you. Good, release. All right, roll those shoulders. How are we doing? Okay. Second side. Stand on the right leg this time. Remember, you can do your form of tree, crossing the arms the other way, or taking your half lotus and binding one of the arms. Chest up. Gaze may be better if you're casting it downward. Good, and release. But I love it. So, Cindy turned around and faced the door. You can totally do that, by the way.
It's not moving.
I love it. Yes, I love it because sometimes I'll say that. And today I was like, oh, you're facing each other, you're gonna have a challenge. But if you don't want the challenge, you just turn away from everybody. It still works. All right, we're actually gonna sit on the floor first. So we're gonna come back to this pose that we did as a warm-up. We're gonna go deeper into something. All right, so remember, we had to lean in to hook the left arm underneath. Go ahead and join me with this one. And if you, again, you can do it without hands, linked hands, or a strap. Now, the difference is instead of rolling into the twist, just turn your head to face the end. Think about if you were gonna try to pick up this left leg. It's heavy, right? And we're leaning that direction. So we have to like push down into the sits bones. And we have to contain the leg. Remember, to bind also means to contain. We're containing the leg, we're lifting it up, and then we're pointing the left foot and stretching the leg out. And then release. Right, second side. Right arm dips and crosses under, left arm hooks behind the back, but instead, I should say, of staying in the twist, you look around, and then we have to shift the weight more into that left sit bone, right, to pick up that right foot, and maybe stretch that leg out. And release. Okay, shake out your wrist. All right, so know what we're leading up to? Birds of paradise. Okay. So birds of paradise, we're going to be doing from squat today. But think about when we're in the squat, how the feet are turned. And if we're doing a balancing pose and standing on one leg, where should the foot be? So foot should be turned, toes facing forward, and we're lining up the hip, knee, and ankle. And look, it's way over here. So let me just demo really quick. We lift the tailbone to hook the arms. Then you have to heel toe that foot in. Then you can step onto the top of the big toe on the leg that you're going to lift. And then you're going to bring it with you. And then try to point, straighten the leg. And if you need to keep it bent, that's okay. And then to come down, you basically come down the same way you got in, or the attempt of, okay? You ready to try? Okay. Have fun with it. Tailbone up, arms hook. Heel toe the right foot over and step onto the left big toe. Bring weight into your right foot, lightness in your left leg. Build up. Birds of paradise or knee bend. So come down, lean forward, tiptoe, heel down, spread the right foot out, return to X. Second side. Any questions? That's one of those fancy ones. Tailbone up. Right arm hooks under, left arm behind. Now the left foot has to heel toe over. And then come to the top of the right big toe. Steady here. When you're ready. All right. When you're trying to control the breath. That's it. Take the arms in the opposite position, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. This reminds me of Kate Irving. So we're going to be tucking and lifting onto a block. The arms are going to do something different. They're going to cross, and the arms are going to hang. And the elbows point up. But make sure your arms are not smushed into your face because you want your nose clear to breathe. So the elbows point up, arms crossed. The hands are not holding your shoulders, they're just drizzling down like icing on a cake. And feel free to close and rest your eyes. Think about how much of a commitment it takes to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice in order to achieve one of these fancier poses. It's the same when we practice and practice and practice in order to be able to drop in and meditate. It takes commitment. Inhale, sail the arms back up. Crisscross the opposite way. Cooling down. This lift of the hips is putting us in an inversion, which helps to calm the mind. It helps to cool the temperature of the body in case you got overheated. And we're also providing a counter position for the arms. Gently release the arms down beside your body. Eyes still closed. From performing your bridge position, you're going to exit out. So root the feet, tuck and lift the tailbone. Roll down one vertebra at a time. And then your hands are going to stack on top of your knees and you're going to circle the knees several times one direction. And then the other. Ready for Shavasana. So if you want to use your bolster under the spine to open the heart or underneath your legs to support your knees. Add it in. Shavasana is one of the most profound and powerful parts of the practice. Even though you're not putting in physical effort, you're still providing mental focus. Think about whenever we're creating a commitment, whether it's a contract, marriage, or whatever. It's the gesture, it's the words, it's the actions, it's the symbology of all that can reveal the truth of what you're proud to show. So whether you're binding on the mat or not, allow your practice to be a reflection of your honesty and truth. If you're recovering from a frozen shoulder, you need to honor that. If you have the lack of flexibility, there's no reason to allow the ego to take over. It's just a position. our point of being here is to arrive into the state of yoga. And the state of yoga is where we feel harmoniously connected within, as well as to each other and to the divine. Slowly begin to move and flow of our breath. Feel free to awaken any movement in the extremities. Eventually, sitting out the pose that you chose and coming into a formal seat. Joining your hands together. Light to me honors and bows humbly to the beautiful light that each of you exhibit. We all be able to recognize each other's light and love that we hold within. Shakti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Playing around these vines. I hope you enjoyed it.